Hello, my name is Martin. I'm a linguist and a translator. Welcome to my language channel. This is the fifth in a series of videos about English punctuation. In this video, we will discuss quotation marks, ellipses, and obliques. Grammar is about the structure of a language. Punctuation is the system of writing the language in a way that makes it easy to understand. Originally, the ancient languages that developed the writing systems wrote words without thought to punctuation. Their vocabularies were limited, and the separation between individual words was understood by the context. Like so many aspects of our modern life that we take for granted, punctuation is one of those things without which people managed for thousands of years. Today, let's start out by talking about quotation marks. There are two types of quotation marks, double and single. These pairs of punctuation marks are used primarily to mark the beginning and end of a quotation spoken by someone else. In American English, the double quotation mark is used, and the single quotation mark is reserved for a quotation within a quotation. Examples: simple quotation. Marlene said, "I'm tired and want to go to bed." Quotation within a quotation. Charles explained, "When I saw Julian in the library, he asked me, 'Try to grab that book on the top shelf.'" Note that this sentence ends with a single quotation mark followed by a double mark. Single quotation marks are preferred in British English, with double quotation marks for a quotation within a quotation. Simple quotation, Marlene said, "I'm tired and want to go to bed." Quotation within a quotation, Charles explained, "When I saw Julian in the library, he asked me, 'Try to grab that book on the top shelf.'" Here are some examples of the use of quotation marks to draw attention to the unusual, dubious, or special status of a word. George and his secretary went to Bermuda on a business trip. The mother didn't want the teacher to discipline her little darling. The leader of the coup convened a peace conference. Now let's talk about punctuation with quotation marks. Most American style guides recommend that commas, periods, question marks, and exclamation points be placed inside quotation marks. In British English, they are placed inside quotation marks only if they are part of the quotation. Let's look at these examples. American English. Joe and Jane visited the Vatican on their second honeymoon. Notice that the period is placed before the closing quotation marks. Again, this is not a rule, but a style, and one that I frankly don't agree with. British English. Joe and Jane visited the Vatican on their second honeymoon. Notice that the period is placed after the closing quotation marks. I personally prefer this style. American English. The answers to the quiz were the Bronx, the Hague, and the Vatican. Note that the serial commas are placed before the closing quotation marks. British English. The answers to the quiz were the Bronx, the Hague, and the Vatican. Here, the serial commas and the period or full stop in British English are placed after the closing quotation marks. So far, we have been considering how to place phrases inside quotation marks. Now I want to show you how to quote an entire sentence as part of a larger sentence. A complete sentence that ends with a period or full stop is placed entirely inside quotation marks if the quotation appears at the end of the sentence. Example, Father Thomas explained, "I am planning to visit the Vatican next year." Please note that the quotation is preceded by a comma. A colon could also be used in lieu of the comma. This style applies to both American and British English. However, if the quotation appears at the beginning of the sentence, the period or full stop in British English is replaced by a comma. Example, I am planning to visit the Vatican next year, comma, explained Father Thomas. Again, this style applies to both American and British English. Question marks and exclamation points are treated similarly, except that they are not replaced by a comma if they appear at the beginning of a sentence. Examples: Father Thomas exclaimed, "I'm planning to visit the Vatican next year." Father Thomas wondered, "Will I be able to visit the Vatican next year?" "I am planning to visit the Vatican next year," exclaimed Father Thomas. "Will I be able to visit the Vatican next year?" wondered Father Thomas. Now let's talk about something that you will definitely be familiar with, but may not know its official name, the ellipses. These are the series of dots or periods we all use to imply that there is more to say without actually saying it. In modern computers, the ellipsis is a single character. Most word processing programs automatically convert 3 dots or periods to an ellipsis automatically. Just try it. American and British style guides differ in their approach to writing an ellipsis. For example, the Chicago Manual of Style recommends 3 dots with spaces in between. This will prevent your word processing software from converting the 3 dots to a single character, by the way. Regardless of how it is written, the ellipsis is basically used to indicate an omission, especially of letters of words, or to indicate an unfinished sentence. Here are some examples. Madeline counted from 1 to 100. 1, 2, 3, ... 98, 99, 100. Really, I wish you would ... Mark stopped, unable to continue. The last punctuation mark we're going to talk about is the oblique. / or just slash is the common American term for this symbol. The British term is stroke, from the original name oblique stroke. This character has 3 main uses. Number 1, in mathematics, for fractions and as a division sign. 3/4, 23/49. To show dates using only numbers 5/6/21 or 05/06/2021. On the subject of dates, American and British formats differ here as well. In the United States, the month is indicated first. Thus, 5/6/21 stands for May 6, 2021. In the UK, as in most of the world, the date is indicated first, followed by the month and the year. Thus, 05/06/2021 means June 5th, 2021. And number 3 is a shorter substitute for and or. Examples: Jules was looking for an apartment / townhouse / townhome to rent. My trip will take me to London / Paris / Rome / Istanbul before flying back to New York. Marie was working as a part-time typist / receptionist. Please enter the name of the parent / guardian. Spaces are generally not necessary before and after forward slashes. But in the case of longer groups of words containing internal spacing, it is logical to place a space before and after the forward slashes. Example: for more information, please consult the official website of the Government of Canada / Gouvernement du Canada, and then the URL. Now let's review what we have learned about quotation marks, ellipses, and obliques. There are 2 types of quotation marks, double and single. They are used primarily to mark the beginning and end of a quotation spoken by someone else. Quotation marks are also used to indicate meanings and to draw attention to the unusual, dubious, or special status of a word. The ellipsis is a series of dots or periods used to imply that there is more to say without actually saying it. The oblique, / or stroke in British English has these main uses. In mathematics, for fractions and as a division sign, to show dates using only numbers, and as a shorter substitute for and or. So that wraps it up for today's video on quotation marks, ellipses, and obliques in English punctuation. If you have found this information helpful, be sure to like this video and click on the subscribe button for more like this one. Thank you so much for watching.